What's up, guys? It's your boy Chad from D Fun Simping. Today we got an OG in the game, one of the, in my opinion, one of my favorites, calling from all the way down in Florida. Put your hands together for Bulldog Mindset, everybody. John, thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate you coming on and spending some game to the young ones, because it's funny. I'm not sure if this is how you came up, but for example, there's the RSD Tylers and the POAs, right? They're the ones that dropped them, the game first, and then I don't know, maybe you and Rolo AMS second, and then the third wave is like myself and Fresh and Fit. So it's funny how there's different generations, because there's people who watch me who've never heard of you, right?
Right.
But so it's cool to see. He guys, Bulldog was before me, right? Like I'll watch Bulldog's videos and interpret it in my own words and spit it to you guys, right? So it's cool to have a guy on the podcast who was an OG. How long have you been in the space for, John?
I first got introduced to the space like 20 years ago.
Wow.
I wasn't really active in the space, like making content, but I started Bulldog Mindset, I think 4 or 5 years ago.
Nice. Perfect.
So I've been kind of in the space, but hadn't really created like a lot of content for until the last 4 or 5 years ago. So
absolutely. And what got you into the space? Is everyone has their stories. Some people have it be a girl. Some people have it be they saw their friends getting played. Like, what was like your way of like, okay, I'm going to change the way I see dating and lifestyle?
Yeah, so there were two major things. Like, so one of them was like when I was really young, like I said, about 20 years ago, I had this girlfriend, this girl I was seeing, and I had one of my best friends who kind of understood at that time, like game, and he was more of like a natural, but
true.
But he had basically said, "Oh, your girlfriend's not loyal. I'll make out with her." And we had this bet, and he did it, and he did it into my, and it, like, I mean, like, he knew what to do. And then I was basically like such a simp, because I was like apologizing to her for saying, and like trying to, and then I realized, like, at that point I was messed up. Like my thinking about things were messed up. So I started finding, I remember finding like the alt that was it the RSD forum, the alt that fastest section forums of the news groups way back then. And then like that stuff was eye-opening to me. I was like, oh shit, like I've got this completely wrong. And so, I started applying that to instant messenger, to AOL instant messenger game. Right. And I had a lot of success with that. And then, I didn't really, pay too much attention to it. I just kind of learned some lessons, but I wasn't like I didn't really understand it. I just kind of understood like some very basic stuff. And then, fast forward to like, 5 years ago or so, I've been running Simple Programmer. I was a software developer. I've been running that company for a long time. And then, I started talking about personal development stuff on there as I was getting more into it. And man, all these programmers were just whining about girls. So it's like 5-page emails and stuff like that.
Jeez.
And so like, I realized that like throughout my life, I had figured out a lot more pieces of the puzzle. I had, built up my confidence with women and all those things. And so that's where I started, as I was helping those guys, I realized that was something that I liked doing myself, and that I was good at it. And I got this because I think a lot of it was just because I'd been dealing with people. I had a real good grasp of human psychology and kind of an intuition for it. And so when I combined that with like the game stuff, just started to come naturally to me, and just analysis of these situations. And I knew what to do in these situations, and I had a lot of experience myself at that point. And so, yeah, that kind of brought me, into wanting to help other guys, and I knew if I could transform my life, that I could teach other guys to transform their lives too. So
that's kind of how I saw it too. If I can do a complete 180, so I can teach other men too as well. For me, I won't tell the juiciest story, because that's on my Patreon. I got to keep it loyal to the people who are on my Patreon. However, my biggest issue was this. In high school, I was the nice guy. So I did everything right. I did the calling, texting, walk her to class, and I'm late to mine, gift giving. And all that stuff, thinking that's what they want. They talk about that in their movies, their songs, right? And I'm doing it, right? Then I get put in the friend zone, and I wasn't man
Yeah.
enough to say this is not what I want. I accepted it because I still want to be in that
Right.
girl's life. And then they would tell me, "Man, I wish more guys were like you." While shaming the dudes they're sleeping with. So I'm like, wait a minute, like you're shaming the dude you're sleeping with, but you want me to be him to be more like me? And he's like, oh well, just she tried to backtrack and just it didn't make sense, right? And for the longest time, I said, Chad, keep staying you. You're a good guy. Like you'll eventually get what you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I hit about 22, 21, and I had like that no 23, 23. 23 was my last time being a nice guy, and then just man, to go back and look back how I treated these girls is just like pure manipulation. They're putting me in their back pocket, right? For
Yeah.
when they turn 32, 33, the mileage has been ran up, and now I want you back. But guess what? No. Now I want the girls who are you're 21 now when I'm 30.
Exactly.
So it's
Well, let
funny
me,
how
yeah.
go on, man.
Oh, go
Go on.
ahead. I was going to say a little bit of insight on that, right?
Yeah.
From both, because I know we're going to talk about some of the red pill, blue pill
Yeah.
stuff. And so like walking the girls to class, like doing nice things, like treating girls do want that. They actually do want that, right? This is the thing. This is the thing that I don't hear a lot of guys talking about but they want it from the guy that has self-respect for himself and doesn't let them disrespect him, right? So it's like, because girls are looking for the unicorn as well, right? Guys are looking for the unicorn, girls looking for the unicorn. For girls, which it took me a long time to figure this out and to sort through all this stuff, is the guy that can sleep with a lot of women, that has game, right? That has self-respect for himself, that has his mission and his purpose number one in life, won't let someone disrespect him, passes a shit test, but then treats her like a princess, goes and does stuff for her, buys her flowers, does all kinds of nice things because he wants to do it, not because he's trying to manipulate her into falling in love with him, right?
Absolutely.
That's like the unicorn for girls. And this is the thing that, in this community, I think in the space here, a lot of guys don't get, because they get like, they understand, like they wake up from the blue pill stuff. And that's great, because that's like being the nice guy. When you're being a nice guy like that, you're doing it because you want to get something. You want to get approval. You want to get validation from women. You're doing it in order to like impress them. Right. And so they wake up from that. And then unfortunately, I think a lot of the red pill stuff, although it's good because it wakes guys up from that, then they think, all right, I just got to act like this guy, never be kind to a girl or any of these things, and don't be romantic. And then, yeah, that will get you laid. Okay. It will get you laid, but it's not going to make a girl fall madly in love with you. It's not going to it's going to get you laid to a degree, but you're going to have better mileage and better results if you can be both, like have the good aspects of being the nice guy, but doing it because you want to do it, and then have the aspects of the red pill of being a guy that has self-respect for himself, that's never going to let some girl manipulate him, put him in her back pocket, is not going to tolerate any kind of disrespect from her. And that's kind of the thing that, like, I think is so confusing to guys today. And unfortunately, it's like, we want to kind of see the world as black and white, and it's not that way. It's like, I think when you marry those two concepts together and understand that you're, the biggest thing, like the biggest thing about being, quote, an alpha male or whatever, is doing things because you want to do them, like making your choices in life, accepting the consequences for your actions, and doing what you want to actually authentically want to do, because everyone's attracted to a person who's like that, who does what they want to do, who doesn't care about other people's validation, doesn't give a fuck about what other people think. But
Got you. So one thing I want to add to that's important. I feel like they got to respect you first. Because I was with
yeah,
this one girl the other night, and she says, I appreciate when guys do nice things for me, but you just met me. You don't know me. Why are you
exactly.
taking me to a restaurant where you're going to spend $300 and you just met me? I'd much rather just go grab a coffee with you, grab a drink with you. I'd much rather have the dates go up as I like you more versus you trying to impress me from the jump. So I feel like with those girls in high school, they may have not respected me, right? Because what happened is
Exactly.
after time, after we fizzled out, they hooked up with like a friend of mine later. So
Yeah,
there's never really like real respect that I built with these women. It's just me from the
exactly.
gate, floodgates open, all my affection, all my attention. I thought what they wanted, but there was no respect there for me. So that's why I feel like so that I think that's first, get the respect. Once the respect is there, you can do more like things like walking her to class, because I feel like she'll value it a lot more versus you doing it from day one. And what's your kind of
Yeah.
take on like the whole getting respect? That's important.
Oh yeah, it's 100%. That's what it is, because you have to look at these things as rewards, right? It's like you if you give out rewards for nothing, it's like a participation trophy,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like
Yeah.
no one values that, but it's like, okay, like if you're, if I'm with a girl and she treats me well, she treats me with respect, you know what I mean, then I'm gonna do things for her. I'm gonna show her that, man, I like when you treat me well, I treat you better than anybody on this planet. Like no one will compare to how well I will treat you. But it's a, it's a give and take. Like you got to keep delivering as well, because if you stop, if you're not respecting me, then yeah, I cut it off, it's done. Like I'm not going to waste my time or effort or energy or give someone a reward who doesn't deserve reward. But what happens with that too is it's like, it creates a cycle, because then it's like, okay, if a girl is very appreciative, and that's the thing, is like, what respect, you can almost like take respect and appreciation, and they're almost basically the same thing, right? It's like, you do something for a girl, she doesn't appreciate that, that's a disrespect, right? And it also indicates she doesn't respect you, right? Now you have a girl that respects you and you do something nice for her, she understands that, she appreciates it, she's thankful for it, right? She's appreciating what you've done, and that facilitates you continuing those actions. So but most guys, what they're doing is they're just giving it out, they're just like a participation trophy. It's like, oh, you're hot, so I'm rewarding you with something. And it's like, no, that's not what you reward on. Being hot, nothing.
No.
Being respectful, like treating you like a king, okay, yeah, you know what I mean, because that's the way that you do it. It's like, because you always want to be a guy that's like, I take care of people who take care of me. Like that's a good reputation to have, is to be a guy like, you're the guy that takes care of people. Like you don't care, you'll drop whatever $300 on a dinner because this person is worth it, because you take care of people in general. And if they're not being respectful, if they're not of value to your life, then they're not in your life, and that's it.
Absolutely. But I feel like while guys are watching this, they're like, okay, well, how do I build respect? Because that's probably their next question. I feel like you build respect by showing. This is the first thing that came to my mind. There's multiple ways, but the first thing to do to build respect is she knows you're willing to walk away.
Yes.
Okay. For example, you guys set plans, day of the date, like 20 minutes before. Hey, can't make it. Sorry. No reschedule. Just can't make it. Sorry. Okay. If
Yeah.
you go, oh, it's okay. Well, anyway, what are you up to right now? What are you doing tonight? You just keep talking
Right.
to her and like and act like nothing ever happened. She'll go, ew, like I bailed on you last minute and there's no consequence. You're not gonna just not talk, like you're gonna
Right.
act like nothing happened. Okay, well, I'm gonna keep doing this. If I can get your attention for free and I can
Exactly.
disrespect your time and nothing will happen to me, well, shoot, I'm gonna keep doing it. So what you do in that situation to build respect is, guys, she disrespects your time. You may have
Right.
gotten a car wash, you may have gotten new clothes, you may have spent money and invested into the day before the day even started. She didn't show up. Now you just go, okay, no worries, and you don't talk to this woman unless she talks
Exactly.
to you. And if she
Exactly.
goes, wow, like most guys are right back the next day. Like, let me go text this guy, right? And you go, hey,
Yeah.
I like how last time ended. Um, you know, I'm not sure if this is gonna work. You almost put some pressure, push back on her, and she'll like, damn,
Exactly.
I got to prove myself. Okay, well, hey, I'll come into screw the date. I'll come to your house.
Right.
Boom,
Exactly.
right? So it's
Yeah.
it's building respect is be showing her this. That's one way. There's multiple ways, but my way is I'm going to show you that I'm going to walk. Do you
Yeah.
have anything to add to that, or your own version of how to build respect, or
No, that's 100%.
yeah,
It's I'm willing to walk.
yeah,
And that is just in life in general. To
yeah,
have people respect you, you have to be willing to say, I do not have people in my life that do not treat me the way that I want to be treated.
sure,
Period. I don't
yeah,
care who you are. I don't care how much money you have. I
how
don't
hot
care
you
how
are, yeah,
hot you are. None of that matters. I only have people in my life that treat me the way that I want to. And that's it. It's the same thing as like, so many guys get into arguments or they get into discussions with girls or even something like that. And they'll be like, I can't believe you're flaking on me. And they'll get all butthurt about it. That's also not, it's like, okay, it's cool. I got plenty of other options or I don't like when people waste my time, but have a nice life, whatever, take care, take care of yourself, whatever, where it's not a big deal, but guys get all into it, or they get into all these discussions with their girlfriends or the girl they're dating. And it's like, no, if I'm dating a girl and she does something I don't like, I just say, I don't like that. And that's like the severest criticism that I need to give, because if I say I don't like that and there's not changes, all right, I already got my message. I don't need to convince someone to do what I want to do or to treat me in a certain way. I just express my disapproval. Like, you just have to express your disapproval, and you have to stick with it. Like, if you disapprove of something, don't be afraid to express that, and then that's it, because a person that you express your disapproval, and then how they respond tells you exactly how much they respect you.
Absolutely. And one thing you mentioned that's important, guys, you may not talk to this girl. Okay, you're not talking to this girl again to hopefully have her come back to you.
Right.
You're doing it just for yourself. Because
Right.
I may get a DM. Oh well, I did what you said. I didn't talk to her for a week and she just hasn't reached out. Well, why are you still thinking about her? This girl
Right.
disrespected you and you're still thinking about it. You should be moving on to the next girl already. She should be left in the past. If she comes back, great. If not, great. It doesn't matter. So
Exactly.
I feel like guys, a lot of guys, are not getting the respect, and that's why we get these long DMs and emails. It starts with respect. I had one client where they went 50-50 on a place. She
Mhm.
cheated on him. They're in the process of getting a new place to get out, separate places, but she still FaceTimes a dude she cheated with in the house.
Yes.
I was like, hold on. She talks to him like she doesn't go to her car. She doesn't go for a walk. Like, she talks to
Right.
him in the house. Like, yes, like, bro, this is over. Like, there's no respect.
Yeah.
The respect's out the window. It's gone. I'm sorry, you're not
Yeah.
getting your girl back. That is
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
respect
And
at ground zero.
yeah. And the question is, like, why would you want that girl back? Like, this is the thing, is it's like too many guys are stuck up on here, like, and that's why I think it's important for guys to learn game too, is because they
Yeah,
get this out of their head, is because they're stuck up on this girl's hot. It's like, well,
yeah,
okay, once you have had 100 hot girls, then you will have other criteria besides being hot that you evaluate. And I
absolutely.
understand if you're like a sexless virgin and you're like, oh well, this,
Yeah, I
she's
feel
hot, like,
yeah,
I have a
yeah,
hot girl, you're like, then it makes a little more sense. And that's why guys have to get experience and get game, is because you got to be able to be like, have some other criteria,
yeah.
you know what I mean? And it's got to be like, shit, why would you want to be with someone who disrespects you to your face, or who treats you less than like you're the the best guy that she's ever met? Like, if a girl's not going to treat you at that level, then then get rid of her. You don't want that. It's not going to be great for you. So
Absolutely. So the next topic I'll get into is very, very, very popular statement, and this statement actually held me back from progressing earlier. Is what's your take on the stance of, you know what? If you want to get girls, don't listen to bulldog mindset. Just be yourself. Just be who you are.
I would turn it to be authentic. See, here's the thing: is like, most people are not being who they are.
Yeah.
When guys hear this advice, they think being who they are is succumbing to the social pressures.
Oh yeah.
If you are
Social for sure.
truly who you are, okay, you're a fucking product of genetic evolution. Like, every single one of us guys out here, like, survived when other genes did not. You're a fucking Chad alpha male, like you are. Like, you're a
Mhm.
fucking beast. You're a fucking lion. Okay, so if you're truly acted how you are, who you are, you wouldn't take shit from anyone. You wouldn't try to get validation from anyone or approval. You do exactly what the fuck you wanted to do, and you wouldn't give a shit if someone, what other people thought about that. So on one hand, like, that advice is accurate. Like, be authentic. The problem is that you have to become who you truly are, right? Like, all these desires of what you want to become in life, it's actually who you really are. That's why you want to become. That's why you want to make money and get muscles and get girls and all these things, is because that is authentically. But you have to grow and evolve. You can't be like who you are right now, right? Like, you can't be the version, because you're not truly being who you are, right? If you're truly living authentically, and you're truly living your life where you have your mission and purpose in life, and you do what you want, and you don't care what other people think, and you're not afraid to express disapproval or tell people when you don't like something, then you're going to be attractive to women. That is going to be attractive. But if, like, being who you are, and women say this all the time, just be yourself or whatever, is, a weak beta pussy type of guy because you're so afraid of losing things, and you're afraid of women, and you have all these things, you haven't dealt with these things in your life. That's horrible, bad advice. It's just going to leave you where you are. A lot of guys complain. They're like, well, I don't want to be fake. I don't want to like pretend to be something. I'm just more feminine, or I'm just not like that alpha. Well, okay, that's like being like, okay, you shouldn't go to the gym and lift weights because you should just lift whatever weight that you can, because like be who you are. No, you got to fucking like put in the work to improve who you are. Like that's the whole thing. And when we talk about like masculinity and what actually attracts women, some of it is not even just having all the things. It's not it's the ambition. It's that you're going after the shit. That's why a lot of women will hook up with guys that they seem like losers. Well, they got the fucking ambition. They got the drive. They're trying to do something with their life, and they've got a mission and a purpose in life. They just might not be there yet. And so you got to always be growing and evolving, because hypergamy, right? This is like this is a good thing. Why? Because it means that you got to be the fucking best. There's no point where you get to rest and you're just like, oh, I made it to the top. You didn't make it to the top because some other upcomer is coming up to take your spot. So you got to keep on fighting and working. And so like the idea of like, just be yourself, like just give up. That's stupid. That's lame. That's never going to be a success route with women, no matter what they say.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna go with the first thing you said, which is very important. I never heard anyone say it. Be authentic. For example, I will see on TikTok, especially because I think that's where a lot of the very leftist liberal women are on TikTok.
Yeah.
Let's say, for example, Nikita Dragon's a very popular trans woman, right? And a dude like came out and said, "Yeah, I slept with her." Right? Trans women are women. Girls in the comments, this is a real man. If you're not like this, we don't want you. Yes, big D energy. And guys like, okay, shoot, like, I don't want to sleep with a trans woman, but I guess I'm not a real man if I don't. So that comes to like being authentic. So be willing to say, no, I'm not interested in that. Take the heat, take the hate, take it, and keep being who you are. Most people, like you said, it's because of social constructs, they're gonna not be authentic because they want to impress women or impress their peers. You and I both get on TikTok all the time, say things people don't like, hate comments. Guess what? Back the next day for more. You know what I mean? Because we're authentic. We're willing to take, and also it's funny. Only one girl who found my TikTok didn't like it and stopped talking because of it. The rest, you know what? It's you're being authentic. A lot of men probably think like you. They're just not going to say it out loud.
Exactly.
So they appreciate the authenticity. The second part of be yourself is, guys, girls don't have to have game. As you've heard the sentence 1,000 times before, men must become, women just are. So if a girl is a blonde girl with blue eyes and huge boobs, she tells you to just be yourself. It's because she just has to be herself.
Right. Exactly.
She just has to be herself. She doesn't have to think about it. Is there any coaches on YouTube teaching girls how to have more sex with men? No, it's how to maybe get a husband, right?
Exactly.
But there's no game on how to have sex because that's too easy. It's too prevalent for women. So a lot of times men are guilty of this too. We put our masculine perspective on women, and women put their feminine perspective on us. So a lot of times when girls say be yourself, it's because they're being themselves. Because dating for them, especially if they're just trying to have a hoe phase, is on easy mode. Pick a rapper, have him in your city, boom, and within an hour he's responding. You're at his hotel room. Men don't have it like that. We can't DM Pamela Anderson and be at her spot in an hour. We don't have that luxury.
No.
So I tell guys it's just like being yourself. Hey, listen, if you're comfortable with who you are, great. But if you want results and you want to be able to pull, because think about it. I know all you guys who watch Fresh and Fit, all those girls say the same thing. 6 foot, 6 figures, right? They all say the same things. So if you're not height, you can't control, throw out the window. But if you can get to 6 figures, why not? We can get to 1 million. Why not? So I'm saying is, if you're comfortable with where you're at, great. But if you're not, change is necessary, and becoming the best version of yourself is necessary. So I only like the whole be yourself thing because it makes some men stagnant, and a stagnant man could hurt him in the long run.
Yeah. And I'll tell you too, like I'm reading a really good book right now. It's by Will or Benjamin Hardy. It's called Personality is Impermanent. And it's about how like your personality changes over, like there is no who you are, like it
Yeah.
changes over time, like
Yes.
you reinvent yourself, you decide who you're going to become. And I know from personal experience, it's like, all right, I'm pretty fucking authentic. I mean, people see me on YouTube, on TikTok all the time now, but if you go back 10 years and look at my videos, or 5 years even, it's a different guy.
Yeah.
So not
New
one of them is
experiences.
fake. It's,
Yeah.
they're different guys. They're not fake. Neither one is fake. Now, you know what you can do if you want to grow and change, like, is you could start acting as if you're already the person you want to become. And if
True.
you start acting that way and doing the things that person does, you will become that person. Just like an actor becoming that character, you'll become that character. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's what you should be doing in your life. You should always have a vision of it. There was a famous acceptance speech that what's his name, Matthew McConaughey did, and they're like, oh, who's your hero? Or, you know, and he's like, 10 years from now, myself 10 years from now, you know, that's it. And that's what he talked about. He's like, and then when I get there, then it'll be myself 10 years from now, you know,
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. His little
And you know,
country accent.
that's it. It's like, but that's how everyone should be. That should be your heroes, like who you're going to be 10 years from now, and have that vision of yourself and start working towards that. Become that guy, you know?
Absolutely. And the last thing to wrap it up is to go over, the pros and the cons of the RP. Because one thing I think it's human nature is we go from one extreme to the other, right? We may go
Yeah.
from full blown fairy tale. I'm gonna find my one. I'm gonna have the glass slipper ready. I'm gonna be that guy for her. To some men, black pill, or what's it called, incel, or whether they got heartbroken too many times and they just went to the fullest extreme. So I feel like through experiences, hopefully, a lot of men kind of come back to the middle ground where they're interested in sides of both blue and red sectors. So what do
Yeah.
you think is like? Start with the pros. What do you think is a pro of the RP can be?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest pro of it is that you awareness,
Yeah,
right? Like to understand, right? That's the key, you know, is understanding what right now, like every one of us, we're in a game.
yeah,
Okay, we're in a game. You can't opt out of the game. Sorry, Black Pill guys, you can't opt out. There's no opting out. You're playing the game of life. All right. We don't know what the rules are, we don't know what the position on the board is, like initially when we come into it. The big thing that the red pill, right, any kind of red pill knowledge does for you is it
mhm,
tells you, here's the rules of the game, all right, and here's where the pieces are on the board, here's where you're at. Now, what you can do with that is up to you. You get upset, red pill rage, it's not fair,
yep,
I
yeah,
don't want to play this game, MGTOW, whatever. You can do all that stuff if you want. It doesn't change the rules and the position, because you're not going to change the rules, and the only thing you can do is move your piece. You have so many options available to you. That is the biggest pro of red pill, is being aware of that. Now, assuming that you get an accurate depiction, if you're getting red pill knowledge from guys that have an accurate depiction of what the rules are and how the game operates. Some of it's not so, but if you can get the more accurate description of that, that's the biggest
which can
advantage.
be tough because there's a new RP channel popping up on TikTok and YouTube every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like based off your personality, for example, this sounds weird. Hear me out. At first, I could never listen to white guys give game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why. I just gravitate towards AMS and like that swagger, I don't know. It just worked. Right.
Right.
Then a year later, I'm listening to Richard Cooper and how he talks, very, stoically, like this. So it's like, you know what I mean? So I've been able to get better. But first, like I was all my information and came from AMS and some couple other guys. But now I'm opening my horizon to more people. So who do you think does a really good job besides yourself on giving some accurate game on RP?
Yeah, no, I think AMS is
Okay.
one of the key guys out there. I'm trying to think some of the other ones. I mean, there's different pieces. Like everyone has their bits and pieces. You know, Rolo's book was very
Yeah.
foundational for
That
me.
was
Like I
yeah.
got that. There's definitely things I disagree with Rolo. I think he just lacks the experience, the actual practical experience but his theoretical is very powerful, and it's true. You know, not to knock him at all. He definitely has his pluses And yeah, I'm trying to think. There's Mr. Lucario.
Yeah.
I think he's the most solid overall. I don't even someone tells me Mr. Lucario said it. I'm like, he's probably right then.
Okay.
Because I know that he's because see, and here's the thing. Here's the key thing for guys to understand is like there's guys that spit red pill knowledge in game, and they don't have any experience. They're not actually out there. They haven't really been out in the field.
Oh,
Okay.
no, that
And then
I'll talk about that. Yeah, go on.
and there's guys that and game recognizes game, right? Real
Yes.
recognizes real.
Yeah.
And then it's like I could tell you exactly the guy because I've been out there in the field. I know how it fucking works. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of guys that would just talk shit and they never been out there or they don't have any success. And if you can tell. So you just have to be careful because they can still say some good things, but like it's almost like it's like poker. Like I play poker a lot, and it's like when I play poker, I talk about like what position was I in? Was this person like a loose aggressive, or like someone who doesn't play poker a lot? They talk about their own hand and what cards they had and what came on the board. And so you just know, someone who's not aware wouldn't know the difference, but game recognizes game.
I agree. And this is not a knock to anybody else in the platform, but I don't know any other guy on TikTok that's posting receipts. Like you can go on my TikTok, you'll see DMs, Tinder, Bumble, Hinge conversations. Like I'm actually showing guys, yo, I'm not just in here from my room talking about it. I mean, my Instagram page, defund sipping on Instagram. I gave it more personal. All right, guys, I'm in the bathroom on this date right now. She's saying this, and this. Like I'm like live from the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm really showing guys I'm not just talking the talk. I'm walking the walk as well. So don't you can take me as a valuable source. So I think a pro of the RP, I'll start with the pro, is awareness. For example, I usually don't do this. Okay, all right, I know. Okay, it helps you. As I think, what's Sharp? Yeah, Mr. Sharp. He's bald head with big muscles. Darren Sharp. He calls it womanese.
Yeah.
So it's like you kind of understand. What's your body count? Like 3. Okay, right. Or it's like you meet her. Oh, you probably talk to at least a couple dudes. No, just you. So it just helps you see behind the lines of what she really means, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or when a girl says, "Oh, I'll let you know," that doesn't mean I'll let you know. It means I'm not interested. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That helps men see through the lies. Like I have a guy text me, on my Patreon, hey, she's been talking to me, but she's not linking. I think she's not interested. She says she is, but she never makes the time. Like, hey man, like he now he's getting it now. Before he just keep talking to her and keep talking to her and keep talking to her. And now I listened to Defund Simping. He said she can't give you, if she can't give you her availability straight up, just move on. So they're basically, before they meet a girl, let's say met a girl in January, he wouldn't call it quits till like May, right? But now it's like meets a girl in January and she's cut by January 10th because she couldn't make it. She couldn't make a deal. She couldn't go out with him. So I think RP helps guys out with kind of weeding out girls who just want free attention and and translating some of their sayings.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah.
Got you. What do you think, to wrap it up? What do you think what one con could be?
I mean, the biggest thing is that guys think that, well, like I said, I was talking about before, they forget that all the game in the world, like the strongest game in the world is actually romance, right? That's what women actually want. That's what actually gets them turned on. It's a mental thing for women. And so because of all this red pill stuff, they try to be this fucking stoic macho man.
All tough, no tender. Yeah, all tough.
Exactly. And they don't realize that game is like fucking finesse. Like, what's his name? Dean Williams also, the man mindset. He also talks a lot about this, and it's so critical. It's like, no, you're not supposed to get angry about all this shit and hate women. Like this is the negative side of it. Instead, you're supposed to like, okay, someone just gave me awareness. This is how the pieces of the board, this is the rules of the game. How can I finesse this to get what I want? Now, if you want to just, bang girls, yeah, you could do that. But also you're still going to apply the finesse part of it too, right? Because these girls aren't looking for sex. They don't need it. They got plenty of it. what they're looking for is guys that is two things. One, guys that are actually really good at sex, then because 95% of guys are shit at sex. So they don't want to just hook up with you in a nightclub and then have like a shitty night. So like you got to demonstrate that by like how you're coming across, how you're talking, all those things. And they're looking for a romance. They're looking for maybe not even a boyfriend, but like a guy that like sweeps them off their feet, that they feel like they weren't just like hooked up with this guy. Like, so if you understand those elements of it and you apply that to the red pill knowledge you have and the game, bam, you're going to go way, way further. And you're going to get like texts from girls that will be like, oh, you're the best man that I ever met. I'm glad that I even just got to spend one night with you. As opposed to texts the next morning that are like, oh, I was really drunk last night or whatever, or like, yeah, you fucking loser. Why didn't you text me back out? Like, all kinds of shit like that. Cause they're going to regret it. Like you could finesse them for a night. You see what I'm saying? So you got to like apply both of these things. But the negative part is that guys get this in their head that they hate women. And that'll screw you all up.
Got you. And I think for me, to wrap this up, my con of the RP is it can actually make sometimes a good girl who is down for you be gone forever. You know what I mean? Because you were so on defense mode, making sure she doesn't play you right. You're just doing all these everything so technical that you lose a good one in the process of playing. Playing it safe. So I feel like that's one thing. And also, of course, at the end of the day, marriage. You don't get the legacy of having. You can have kids, I guess, but like having a baby mama is a bit more. It depends what you want to do. But I think RP guys don't want to get married. So you may not, you be 50 years old in your house by yourself, and that's cool. If that's what you want, that's totally
That's what you want.
yeah. It's plenty of men who are totally cool with peace and quiet. But it's funny. People think the grass is green on the other side. So the guy's 50 alone, looks out his window, sees a guy, holding his child's hand with the wife, and oh damn, what if? And then there's a guy, the married guy at the house who has a annoying, nagging wife. Like, man, I wish I'd be the guy in a nice high-rise apartment in LA, by myself. So everyone wants to kind of switch places sometimes. But other than that, man, that's why purple pill is pretty cool. I like that. You're aware of female nature, but you're willing and open to a relationship, which is I feel like most men.
Yeah. And one piece on that, what you said about the girl, like losing some of the girls. So you talked about earlier, women don't need game. They don't have game. They don't have game for getting laid. And you said that they do need game for getting a boyfriend, for getting a committed relationship.
Yes, that's what that and for that.
The best quality women that have the best game, like, and I coach women and I tell them, I'm like, don't sleep with the guy. Don't sleep with the guy, especially on the first night. Like make him show some kind of investment before you sleep with the guy. So to kind of bring it full circle, a lot of guys that get the red pill knowledge in their head, they're like, oh, okay, well, she'll put it out for Chad, but she doesn't. Sometimes like you get into a zone where a girl puts you in the bucket of like, you're a high quality dude and she doesn't want to blow with you and she has good game. So that's why she's not sleeping with you right away. Now, again, goes out like 5 nights or whatever, you could tell where you stand. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes guys cut those girls because they're like, okay, my red pill coach told me if she doesn't put out, she's out. Like, she belongs to the streets. And that's a bad, like if you're looking for a relationship, if you're looking for a girl that you want to have something maybe more with, you got to realize that those are the quality girls. Those are the girls that have some standards and have some respect for themselves. And so just to talk to your point about that, I think it's true. Guys do cut girls too quickly sometimes that were actually the quality ones, to just get with the hose. And it depends on what you're looking for, but just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll add to that too, because I feel like this is a great topic. So this is my thing. I am willing to wait for sex if other men are waiting for it too. What I'm not going to do is wait for sex while you're going out to the bar and leaving with the guy that same night. Like, wait a minute, we've been hanging out for about 4 or 5 nights. I haven't. You put it off for me, but you met this one guy within 1 hour. He's at your house. Okay, no. So to me, this question gets brought up a lot. Where I'm talking to a client. Hey, listen, man, it's like the 3rd or 4th date. She hasn't put out yet. Okay, it's okay. If you like her, I feel like you do, because that's what you're calling me about her. You're gonna, if you go for it again, if you go for it, and she stops you, ask her, either one or two questions. Either A, are you comfortable with me? Or
Uh-huh.
B, are you sleeping with other people? And you can see in her
Yeah.
pupils. If you ask her to sleep with other people and she's like, no. Okay. So maybe if you catch her in a lie, she's sleeping with other people, then maybe you determine. I can't tell you what's worth it, what's not. But if you don't want to wait for a girl who's sleeping with other men, then for me, I have to excuse myself. It's like, why am I putting all this investment in financially and with my time? Well, he just calls you over at 1 a.m. Right.
Exactly.
So sometimes girls can play two roles: good guy with these guys and little bad
Exactly.
girl with these. And sometimes you got to find out if she's playing both roles.
Exactly. Yeah. And one thing you can do
Yeah.
to kind of test it
Yeah.
is
Please. What's
because
that?
if you're not sure, like where do you stand with her? Where she not putting out with you because she doesn't really like you, or
Yeah.
you're not of a high, is you could just require her to make big investment. So
Okay.
like have her drive like an hour to meet you somewhere. Have her like tell her to go grab some wine and a steak or something like
Okay.
that when she comes out, and then so if she's willing to like put a huge investment and she's not putting out, it's fine, because that means she values you extremely highly, right? Because a girl that's not really interested in you, that isn't sure, that isn't all about you, if you ask her to make some kind of investment, she'd be like, she's not gonna do
Sure.
shit, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But if she makes an investment, now you've got a girl that might be a very quality girl that may have put you in the bucket of like, she doesn't want and respect you. And that, like, if that's what you're looking for, like that's a good sign. Like, too many guys get confused about this because they're like, oh, I got to follow these rules, these are the rules. And it's like, no, you got to know where you're standing. The biggest advice I always give guys is like, match the level of investment, because that's the thing. If a girl is investing more than you than you are in her, you're good. You could do whatever you want. You're solid. As long as you match the level of investment, it solves so many problems by just that one phrase: match the level of investment.
Got you. All right, Bulldog. Real quick before I leave, I always like to get a quick photo because
Yeah.
it's like having it for my portfolio, man. Real quick, I'm going to Instagram real quick and do a little story. Hold on. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. All right, thanks, man. You've been great. I appreciate all the
Yeah.
wisdom, and you definitely got to chop it up soon when I'm not on like a time crunch.
All right, brother.
All right, peace.
Yep.
Have a good day, bro. Later.
Thanks for having me. Yeah. Take care.